like to first of all commend the Ministry of Health for the great work that you did during the pandemic. You see, all of us here healthy, none of us got COVID, mainly because we were listening to the daily broadcasts. Cabinet was after you and we were after Cabinet to be giving us all the information that was needed. We appreciate the Auditor General's office. In the processes, Honorable Chair, going forward, because we read from the report that the proper processes, which meant that you had to present to Cabinet everything that you were doing your plans. So going forward, how would you do it differently? COVID is still here. How would you do it differently so that the whole of government will be on board in terms of COVID containment and mitigation? Just a question.
Thank you. I think one of the lessons that we have learned here is in all the response, both in the response and in the expenditure to support the response, there has to be an escalation and de-escalation plan in every facet in order for us to be able to manage and reduce wastage and unnecessary expenditure. And the escalation and de-escalation plan has to sit within a set of triggers that can allow us when we can sort that out in a timely manner. We were grateful for the fact that the discussion ended up with us having to design a expenditure framework, because it did mean that we got the general narrative of an escalated expenditure framework. And of course, before COVID, we already had a pre-existing de-escalated expenditure framework. So moving forward, what we are going to have to do is to just make sure that we can find the triggers that will allow us to move up and down. We also have two functional units that we have developed, and that is the our FEMET and our Border Health Protection Unit. Both of them also have FEMET. We are now, from moving forward, we are going to use FEMET as the means through which we engage the rest of government. We'll use the response arm from FEMET. If we have an emergency and health is the lead, we go through FEMET to engage government and society in such a way that it is proportionate to the size of the problem. We've learned that if we have a specialized unit that continues to function during normal times, and every time it will respond to small leptospirosis outbreak, we send FEMET. When it's a cyclone, we send FEMET. That way we keep schooling and educating FEMET with processes that allow them to engage and scale up to a magnitude that is proportionate to the size of the problem. Likewise with our expenditure, because we have a framework for expenditure that we used during COVID, we now can move up and down again from normal expenditure framework to escalated expenditure framework. The only difference, of course, is that the framework has to engage across government. And this is where we will have to work a bit more on the kind of framework that encompasses a whole of government response to make it more transparent. That's a bit difficult, but I think we are running a lot of lessons learned workshops. World Bank has supported us in doing a lot of workshops that we are running from divisional, subdivisional, and medical area levels, so that when we talk about whole of government engagement, we are actually having whole of government functional units right at the community level, rather than just having a national functional unit and then disaggregating, trying to find ways and means of making it work. What we want is we want to pre-position the functional units at the community, make it functional by learning from small outbreaks that happen, including hurricane, cyclones, or any other disaster, and allow that to school us on how to respond. One of the good things that we also found was the fact that because we've got an NDMO culture also within the Ministry of Health, and FEMET has a very strong NDMO background in terms of dealing with, finding a pathway for escalation. So that's also helped us in navigating giving us some wisdom in that area. From the border health side, we've got ADB has supported us in doing a structured plan of escalation and de-escalation. And we actually writing that plan to be endorsed through cabinet. It is a number of players involved. There is the Ministry of Defence is also playing with us on this one, immigration and health. And Dr. Sam Fullman here has been engaged with all those three entities to ensure that we have the seedling of a response arm at the border for any outbreaks or any emergencies that are border related. And we want to use that, we have a generic pattern, but we will nuance it according to the nature of the emergency, which means that we'll have leadership that is appropriate for the type of emergency. If it's an agriculture one, we'll go for agriculture. We want to be able to be flexible enough to deal with all of them. Thank you.